Hello, I'm Kevin Kelly. In a few minutes you'll get an opportunity to see me speak to PMI India in Mumbai. But for now, a quick insight into my work. For the past 25 years, I have had the honour of addressing audiences from Medina to Mumbai, from Seoul to San Francisco. In that time, I've authored 5 books and 3 motivational CDs, including the critically acclaimed Do: The Pursuit of Exceptional Execution. The majority of my work is co-creating motivational keynotes on sales, leadership, storytelling and change. For many, my style is very different to other speakers in the market. Why? Because I have a huge focus on delivering real takeaway and also maximum engagement. The latter is achieved through very sophisticated crowd management. But the starting point of the whole process is a deep discussion with yourselves about the pain points in your organization. In the past, I was commissioned by Microsoft to create a video series for their worldwide partner community on selling. At the moment, I'm currently looking into how that information can also be delivered using virtual reality. On numerous occasions as part of my brief, I've been asked to deliver a report on what are the major interpersonal challenges within the groups. Normally, this group would be a group of directors and managing director. This is achievable within minutes. Yes, you heard me correct, minutes. So if, for example, you're looking for new eyes, a new perspective, an independent mind at your top table, I'd be only too happy to discuss that with you. A few months ago, as a CSR project, I created a compelling story and strategy to raise 450k within a community of 3,000 houses with zero budget. This reaffirmed in my mind the power of story, particularly the ability to tell your story in a hashtag. Currently, I'm working on, no surprise, a book on storytelling, which is probably the most powerful strategy in business currently. And now, lead like you live it keynote in Mumbai for PMI. Enjoy.
Stand up for a second. Stand up, please. Let's get up. We're going to make this fast. Okay, hands on your face. Really big, huge. Yeah. Now slap your face. Now turn to the person beside you. You can do this. PMI of insurance. Hit them. Hit them in the face. Sit down, sit down, sit down. So, okay. So basically, I want to tell you about a little bit of the work I've been doing over the years. And I came across some really interesting studies in 2000. It was a study by Columbia University. And what they found was the following. They tracked all the major breakthrough companies over the previous decade. Amar Vidi of Columbia University. And what he found was 88% were the result of exceptional execution of an ordinary idea. Let me say that again. That the breakthrough companies over the previous decade in America were the result of not a wow idea, not a new invention, exceptional execution of an ordinary idea. I found that research remarkable, and I decided I'd pursue it further. So I went one stage further, and I interviewed some of the top startups around the planet. And what I wanted to do, and what I'm going to share with you, is I wanted to break down exceptional execution into 4 different attributes of exceptional leaders. So here are some of the companies I interviewed. I won't go through them in detail. Globant is a technology company from Argentina. They started with 4 people in a restaurant 10 years ago, dreaming of making Argentina a technology hub. Today, they have approximately 3,500 employees, 200 million plus in revenue, first company in the world to be subcontracted to by Google. Their clients are Google, Electronic Arts, etc. 4 people with a dream. I'm going to show you the strategy they used to go from 0 to where they are today. Another interesting company here is Outfit 7. Has anyone ever heard of the Talking Tom app? The cat that talks back to you, yeah. Really interesting company. At the moment, they have recorded over 2 billion downloads of Talking Tom. Yeah? They started, also very interesting, I'll link it in at the end, with 7 men and 1 woman in Slovenia. They didn't know what they were going to do, but they did it anyway. And the rest became history. They had no idea of the Talking Tom app when they started. And one of the themes that we discussed earlier, you'll see it underneath all my slides. That is the secret to a business life. What is it? Do. It's about execution. It's about taking action. It's about engaging in the journey and watch what happens. It's about dreaming big dreams, but more importantly, it's about doing. So on all my slides, I'm fairly boring as an Irish man. It's do all the way. Okay? Up here, just to show you the different types of people I did, there was a lady from a company that's the biggest slimming company in Ireland and the UK, Unislim. And I want to tell you, the funny thing is she started off and she had no idea whatsoever about slimming. And in her first meeting, somebody says, Mary, I have a big problem. I'm trying to lose weight and I don't know how. And Mary, her name is Agnes, as it turns out, went, oh my God, they're asking me questions. Okay, so she said that every day, the customer said, she eats a loaf and a half pot of jam. This was 25 years ago, okay? So what did Agnes say, who had no idea about the slimming business and no idea on what type of advice she should give, but she had common sense? What advice do you think she gave? Try and, half a loaf and half a pot of jam and see what happens. And that is how her swimming empire started. Word got around after this woman lost weight all around the community, and there it began. As I said earlier as well, it's all about little small moments in businesses. Last night when we were in the hotel, Raj got us into the kitchen, and in the kitchen they showed us how they made bread. I'm now telling you that story to 700 people. I will probably tell it to thousands more around the world. It was the first time I had seen how they made naan bread in the oven, etc. A small moment that will stay with me for a lifetime. What is business about in an attention deficit world where the average attention span is 8 seconds? You have a very short window to engage. So you want to make those moments count, those little stories that people can share. You know what I'm saying? Good? Okay. So that's a little bit about the companies. I started breaking down. So number one, none of them had a wow idea. They were all ordinary ideas. Most of them had no cash to begin with at all. Globant had $5,000. I will tell you what their strategy was in a minute. None of them had a business plan, and very few of them had any industry knowledge. In the last session, a person came up to me and said, I make submarines. Did you ever sell submarines before? And I have sold everything from tickets to Microsoft products to ambulances to gates to you name the product, I've been involved in it. There's no secret to selling. At the end of the day, give or take, it's about people buying people, people trusting people, people getting on well with people who exceed their expectations, and so on. So, yet again, Dwala, for example, a cash payment system, he had no background whatsoever in the industry that he has gone on to dominate. So here were the 4 attributes, 4 pillars of leadership. Number 1, awareness. Number 2, they understood, like nobody else, that the biggest game in town was attention. Number 3, they were sponges. They loved learning. Number 4, they weren't dreamers, they were doers. Okay, so we're going to go through this very quickly. Hands up the answer to this question. How many people here believe that in a study, people decided to hear the sound of their own voice rather than to take money? So they were presented with a choice by Harvard University. Do you want to get attention, hear yourself speaking and sharing your opinions, or do you want money? How many people here think that they took the money? Hands up if you think they took the money. Have a look around, guys and dolls. Just have a look around and see it. How many people said no, they preferred the attention? Look around. Isn't that simply amazing? What have we been talking about? Attention is the most powerful drug in business. We are living in an attention deficit world. If you give quality attention to people at the moment, they're prepared to pay for it almost. They love attention. If you forgot everything I said, go back to the drawing board and look at that in your business. Am I giving quality attention to my customers, the most powerful drug in the world with no side effects? But more importantly, am I also giving quality attention to my co-workers? Because it has been shown by research from Gallup, etc., friends at work, more committed, more productive, etc. Okay, so the question is, and this is something we talked about for 2 hours today, how do you deliver quality attention? Very briefly, you understand the 3 M's in communication. Your message, you the messenger, and how you connect with the mob, how you communicate your message to the mob. Message, messenger, and mob. You get those 3 elements right, and you will get and give quality attention. But please remember that. It is so, so important. How did Globant get quality attention to start? They sat down in a restaurant, and they wrote down all their friends from past businesses. They got their $5,000, and they booked cheap flights around the world, and they did what Guy Bear told me was the McDonald's tour of the world, which was ate in the cheapest potential restaurants, you know, stayed in the cheapest rooms, but met their friends. From those meetings, they got their first customer, just like the lady with the half a loaf, and that's where it all began. It began in that moment. So what I'm suggesting to you to develop real attention, develop real friendships, because the customer as a concept is dead. You need to focus on building friendships, not customer relationships. Similarly, on awareness, we talked about it earlier. You need to know only one thing. Who is that person that is screaming up at me at the moment? Do you know? How do you know? Who have you talked to? Because until you know what's turning up in front of me, you will never know why you may be losing deals, why rapport is not so easy, etc. Because the biggest player in this game, believe it or not, is you. And everything at the end of the day, if it's to begin, it has to begin with you. So who helps you see? Now for my 3rd slide, and this is the slide I've made the most money on around the world. It is on no business course, no syllabus anywhere. I want you to say this to the person beside you as convincingly as possible. And then I'm going to prove very quickly how important this is. Say this. There you go. Turn to the person beside you. Say it again without laughing. No, that was without laughing. Okay. How many people here genuinely believe that, wait for a second, everybody can be their teacher? So for example, the person opening the door outside, the person in the local garage, the professor, the guru, the child, the most annoying person in your life, who believes that they are all fantastic teachers? Hands up if you believe that. Oh my God, we have a lot of liars here. Because the reality is, the majority of people do not believe that. It sounds beautiful, but they don't fully embrace it. I want to tell you 2 very quick stories. In 2000, I was asked by a lady, could I help their brother to write a book? I'm going to make this quick. I said, no problem whatsoever. Tell him come up, I'll help him. We sat down, I told him the ins and outs of writing a book. At the end of it, he says, how can I help you? I said, no, it's okay. I'm happy to help. No, how can I help you? So he persisted, and then he told me he actually had worked on one of the first 3 banks online, worked on one of the first magazines online, and he'd worked with Warner Music to create a community of supporters for Madonna online. So he took over my website. He wanted to help me on my website. He took over my website. Within 3 months, if you Googled personal development speaker in google.com, I was number 1, 2, or 3 for about 3 years.
I hope you enjoyed the clip and got some real ideas from it. If you're planning a project in the future, I would be more than happy to chat to you and brainstorm any future interventions. Talk to you soon.